Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I'm back to post a quick video here. Wanted to do this before I ran out. I've been doing kind of busy today, but I wanted to do a quick response to Trish Mullins, DJ Trish, her 400 subscribers contest. Um, of course, first and foremost, congratulations on the 400 subs. Um, you're the queen of the mix CDs. That's how I refer to DJ Trish. With Adam being the king of the mix CDs. But yeah, Trish has been in the VC for quite some time. Those of you that know her, she's well known for all of her mixes, which she does based on time of year or events going on or whatever else, and just one of those all-around good people that it's just so great to have here in the VC. So yeah, Trish, want to make sure I pay tribute by at least doing a response video to your 400 subs contest, and definitely glad that I can be one of those 400. But yeah, nice simple question. Just told us just kind of share some of our early musical experiences. It's like some of the earliest thoughts you have and that type of thing, which is actually kind of easy for me because music has always been an extremely impactful thing for me. And a lot of times when I experience something that moves me musically, even if it's just like hearing a song for the first time, it's almost like this little marker is planted in my memory, where if I start trying to go back and dive into that memory, it doesn't take a lot of searching. It's kind of like I can go right there. I have all these extra details which I don't have about anything that happened before that or anything that happened after that. So it was pretty kind of evident looking back. It's pretty evident that music was just going to be a very impactful thing for me in my life. So when I think back to like my first music memories, and I'm talking about the ones again that are just very vivid with me, there are really three songs that I know were like the first ones that really just kind of took my world, if you will. You have to keep in mind, my dad was from Africa. My mother was from Tennessee, and they met when he was in college. So I wasn't in a family dynamic where, I had family members or parents passing me down their Beatles albums and all of that. So that whole world of rock and roll and everything, even those type of influences were never just readily available through someone saying, here, take these. All that was discovered as I grew and discovered things. So my mother and the kind of that side of my family, very, very spiritual based, a lot of gospel music, some R&B, but gospel was very, very prevalent on that side. And my dad, more of the African music and stuff like that I love today was what the influence was from him. So keeping all that in mind, the first three songs that I just remember totally taken into my world, I can remember before any others, were number one, Debbie Boone's You Light Up My Life. I think technically that was the first 45 I ever had my parents go out and buy for me. I had this little flip down record player, and I remember playing that 45 over and over and over. We're talking third grade here, maybe fourth grade, well before kindergarten. Playing that 45 over and over and over, even talking back to Debbie through the speaker, because she could hear me if I talked through the speaker or whatever. But I know I had a few other 45s at the time, but that's the only one I remember. And I remember listening to and doing all of that. And my parents used to say, we could always tell when you were up in the morning because you didn't, you weren't the crying type of child. Like you didn't need the attention and all of that. She said, my mom would say all the lights would be off and everything else. And she would just hear my record player kick on in my room. Pitch dark, no lights. And I'm just sitting on the floor spinning records in the dark. And that Debbie Boone was one that I played all the time. And during that same time period, I've already told you about a number of times a story about driving to the mall with my sister, my parents, and Blondie's Heart of Glass coming on, and again, just blowing my mind. Like, that's coolest thing I've ever heard. Girls are yucky, but she just seems cool as can be, and like the whole nine. And I remember so much about that drive. I don't remember what happened at the mall. I don't remember where we were coming from prior, but I remember that drive going through that section of this kind of mountain. We were in North Carolina, and just that song coming on and me just whoa. And then the third one, again, the same time period, The apartment complex we have, I remember there was a pool that was kind of a part of the complex. There was also a pool house that was up there that had kind of like a dance floor, somewhat of a bar. You know, it's like the whole pool party thing. You know, this is the 70s. So I remember they used to sell pickles in there, like the jars that set up on the counter. And anyone that knows me knows that I am completely obsessed with pickles. The only food I cannot control myself around. Pickles and cheesecake. I can walk away from any other food for a year if I had to. But pickles and cheesecake, if it's in front of me, I have no control. But so my dad takes me there to get one of these pickles. And I remember a song coming on. Again, it's the middle of the day, so nobody's in there. But the song comes on, and I just remember thinking, that is just the coolest thing in the world. And it was Ring My Bell. You know, it just came on. And and again, it's one of those things that just totally floored me. I was just like, I don't know what it is about that, but it's like my world is just being rocked right now. And, you know, those are the three songs I can remember from that time period. And out of the literally maybe 15, 20 very specific memories I have from that point in time, you know, things around music and around those songs take up like half of those very distinct and clear memories. Even back to the point of, I don't remember exactly what our furniture looked like or exactly how it was arranged or how my bedroom was arranged at the time, but I remember in that hall that I was just talking about, that pool house, I remember the bartender had dark black hair, kind of a mustache. I remember my dad having to go to the far corner towards the last bar stool to get the pickles. I remember the dance floor was brown and kind of black, this, you know, 70s tile looking thing. And like all those specifics, because of what that song did to me, that's all locked in. But I don't remember the color of our carpet in our house, you know, at the time. But those are definitely my three of my bigger, you know, early, very early, the earliest memories I have of music and the songs that really kind of captured me. Then we moved from there back to Illinois for a little while, kind of going back to some more of those markers. Now we're talking fourth grade, maybe kind of going into fifth grade, so that 2.5 years or so. Now, at this point in time, you know, I have some of my first experiences in, you know, rock music, in the sense that Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, kind of a crossover hit to some degree, as well as Blondie's Rapture. Those kind of came out at the time, and I remember my mom going out and buying Queen Another One Bites the Dust 45 with a Suicide as the B-side. I remember that as well. And then Kool and the Gang's Celebration. She went out and bought those two 45s. So that Queen kind of brought me into the rock world a little bit. But then seeing, you know, we didn't have cable and all that stuff back then. You know, we had our 4 or 5 channels or whatever. And I'm at home one day flipping stuff around, and this thing pops up, and I see these guys with guitars, and they have these little things coming around, you know, and I'm just like, well, what is this? Keep in mind, outside of Another One Bites the Dust, I have no anything about rock. Again, I haven't heard of any Beatles or the Who, or that means nothing. Zeppelin means nothing to me. And I'm sitting there watching this, and by the time it's over, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and it ended up being, you know, looking back or discovering later, it was Neil Young with his Live in Berlin performance. And the song I happened to capture was Sample and Hold. And between that whole voice box thing he was doing and the sounds of the guitars, I mean, that was just like, that just completely rocked my world in terms of helping introduce me to that element of rock and roll and everything. And of course, the voice box became the coolest thing in the world. So again, now we're talking between third and fifth grade-ish, somewhere in there. So I have the Neil Young experience. I have that Queen experience. Blondie's Rapture, you know, my cousin got that song and played the heck out of it. That was also the same time that Africa Bambaataa came out with Planet Rock. And again, completely opened up my hip-hop world. I go to my cousin's house. His name was Theron. We went over there. I had dinner over there, and then we took that record and literally played it. I'll never forget this. We played it 11 times in a row, back to back. You know, on the back of his couch, acting like we're playing keyboards and everything else. And then it's just, even though it wouldn't come around for a while, hip hop was just totally, it was the thing, it was my thing, and that song just meant everything to me. So, very, very defining moment there, too. Two other songs from that time period that are extremely vivid, those very clear markers. The song Never Gonna Give You Up by Force MDs, who just came out. There was this program they used to have in my neighborhood, because again, I kind of grew up in this very poor, project, Southern Illinois. And they had this program where we could meet at this center like every other week, and they would take us across town to go swimming at this pool, like a YMCA type pool. And I remember one day we're walking there, and right as we're turning off of Oak Street, my brother starts singing the song Never Gonna Give You Up, my older brother. And he's kind of skipping around and making fun of the, kind of video that was out with at that point in time, before videos were really videos. And again, I remember at that moment that song became one of my favorite songs. You know, there's a few other things I remember about those experiences, but again, just remembering like where we were on the street when that song hit me, it's one of those markers again. Um, and there was a couple others too, but I mean those are kind of the main ones that really stick out in my mind. Um, as well as when Genius of Love also came out at that point in time by the Tom Tom Club. I remember going to a party and uh, yeah, I mean my friend Danny, I remember him dancing to it in the party and all that kind of stuff. The jeans and yellow shirt he was wearing, again, just memories from just years and years ago. But again, that song just seared something in me. So, but after that, it was kind of a okay, so fifth grade, then I moved in fifth grade. My dad got a job teaching as a professor, so we moved a couple states over. And that's where music really just kind of exploded for me. Because you have to keep in mind here, where I'm moving from are, you know, ghetto projects, Southern Illinois. All my friends are black. R&B, gospel is really the music I'm experiencing, and hip hop hasn't really exploded yet. Like Africa Bambaataa and Frankie Smith and a few others are on the scene, kind of doing what it became this big hip hop thing, but hip hop wasn't there yet. So then in fifth grade, I moved from that, and the very next day, I'm in a middle class, all white neighborhood where I went from all black friends listening to R&B and gospel to all white friends who were all Def Leppard, AC/DC, Twisted Sister, and all of that. So again, my musical world just opened up like that overnight. And I mean, all of a sudden, not only do I have all these new influences with my friends, but now hip hop is starting to become big. The early 80s of hip hop. Now, oh boom, here's MTV. And I'm helping my mom clean one day, and I've told this story in the past before too. I'm still kind of just picking up on some of the things my friends are listening to. I'm still digging all the stuff I was digging before I left, and hip hop is starting to grow. MTV, yeah, I've heard about this thing, but I may check it out here or there, whatever. One day I'm cleaning, and I see two videos that come on back to back. Billy Idol's Eyes Without a Face, and then U2 With or Without You. And after seeing those two videos, again, I'm mind blown. And 80s new wave and all that just totally opens up right then and there. And between that and what BET was doing at the time with Video Soul back when Donnie Simmons were there, I mean, literally that fifth grade up to that fifth to seventh grade, that 2 year time period, I was flooded and bombarded with more music that, I mean, I just can't even imagine what I would do to be able to go back and experience a time like that again. To be in the midst of that much awesome music coming in from every genre, every direction. I can remember not wanting to take my plate into the kitchen because I was scared of what I was going to miss on the next video that came up when watching Video Soul. I mean, I remember this, like, that's just how much stuff was just capturing me. And from that point forward, you've seen the craziness since. So, anyway, there you go, Trish. Hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think. VC, and as always, we'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.